Hello everyone, welcome to the South Coast Reptiles YouTube channel. In today's episode we're going to be going over where you can find your starter kits if you want to get a starter kit for your leopard gecko you're hoping to get. Now she's being a bit agitated, so I'm just going to put her away because she's a bit too overexcited. She's a bit excited tonight. I don't really want to lose her. With the leopard gecko starter sets you can get online, there are two kits we're going to talk about today. One is the Habitat Leopard Gecko Starter Kit, which you'll be seeing here right now, which comes with basically all your basic essentials you're going to need to take care of your leopard gecko. So that includes obviously the enclosure itself, which is one of these enclosures here. They also comes with the enclosure for your heating. It comes with a heat mat, which goes underneath the enclosure and a little slot at the back. So it actually goes underneath that little glass panel, and then that obviously creates their hotspot for you. Also comes with all your basic essentials such as your thermostats, your probe to record your heat, calcium supplements, feeder insect food, your hides, tweezers, your substrate, sphagnum moss, all them kind of things. It all comes included. There's another picture here of all that stuff. But a Habitat starter kit, I would say, is a good starter kit. As in, I wouldn't advise this for an adult leopard gecko all the way through its natural life. I would say that this starter kit is good as a first enclosure, really. So from like baby to juvenile, the starter kit is fine. I'd just say for babies, rather than using the substrate they give them the starter kit, use paper towels until they get to that kind of about juvenile 6 months kind of age. Then once they're at that age, a little bit bigger, then you can move them on to the actual supplied substrate, which should, as long as your husbandry is all good and you're taking care of them well, that should be perfectly fine. Shouldn't come across any issues. But obviously for your adult leopard geckos, for like example Lizzie, wouldn't advise that enclosure for Lizzie because I don't think it's long enough for her. So obviously Lizzie travels from her warm hide to her moist hide constantly all day, every day. And obviously it's a 3 foot wide enclosure, so she's got to walk 3 foot to get from there to there, and also gives her that space so she can explore, hunt for her food, do all her natural behaviours. So I'd say this enclosure, perfect for your juvenile and below, but for your adults and above, I would recommend the next one, which is the Reptile Centre. I know it's a UK based reptile store which has its own reptile online, but if you go online on their website you can also get their starter kits. They go from silver, gold, platinum, obviously different rates. Our Habitat starter package we talked about at the beginning, that costs online around about £180, so that's for that Habitat starter kit. Their silver kit from Reptile Centre is £325 roughly. And with that, you get a 3 foot wide, 3 foot long by 3 foot by a foot wide and a foot tall enclosure. This is the enclosure we use for all 3 of our reptiles we have at the moment. So that's Oreo, the fat-tailed gecko. Obviously, we've got Charlotte up here, the Western hognose snake, and also we've got Lizzie in the bottom one here. They all are in them size enclosures, and they all are perfectly happy in them enclosures. Gives them plenty of space to move around and that. The only one out of them who might need an upgrade in the future would be Charlotte, because obviously hognose snakes can get quite large. So if you're online and you're looking for the cheapest kit, for example, maybe you ain't got quite as much money to splash out on all the bells and whistles, the silver package is your basic essentials really for an adult leopard gecko. So obviously it comes with your enclosure, your heating supply, comes with a halogen light bulb, I think a 60-watt one. Comes with a heat mat as well, I think. Yeah, it does come also with a heat mat. And obviously you've got your thermostats, your probe, dish, the lock for your enclosure, all the bits you need for that obviously are in the silver kit. But obviously the higher up the package as you go, obviously the more valuable and just the more bells and whistles it has along with it. So obviously moving on from that one, moving on to the gold package. The only difference between the silver and the gold package is that the gold package does come with a cabinet. So if you obviously, unlike us, where we obviously already got existing furniture, which kind of added the enclosures on top. Obviously if you've just got like an empty space in the corner of your room you want to put in, obviously the gold package does come with a cabinet as well. So obviously You build your cabinet and put your enclosure on top, so that's like a full set, so you've got everything you need to put the enclosure somewhere. Then moving on to the platinum package, which is the most high-end bells and whistles galore. The enclosures are bigger, so this is about 115 centimeters long, so this is over 3 foot 3 is a meter, so just over a meter long, obviously just over 3.5, probably about 3.5 foot long, still by a foot deep and a foot wide, but obviously it's just that extra half a foot of space inside the enclosure. And obviously the other main differences in this is the is basically the thermostat. The thermostat's probably one of the most expensive changes in this. Rather than being the Habestat old school one with a little dial on it you can change to make it whatever you want, obviously a manual one, the platinum package comes with the Evo digital one. So this is that really expensive one that's just come out, which obviously is digital. You can connect your phone to it, so you can control it. As long as you've got an internet connection, you can control, your phone's connected to it. So you can control everything about your enclosure's heating off of your phone. So and you can set timers, you can set different heat lamps and that. For example, we've got one of the more modern ones of Oreo. So the only thing I've got to do with Oreo in the morning is turn his lights on and off. That's the only thing I've got to do with Oreo's enclosure for his daily cycle of like heat and light. Just come in, turn his lights on. That's the only thing I've got to do. In the night, turn them off. Because everything else on his enclosure, it's automated. So I've never got to worry about, oh my God, did I forget to put his heating on? Messaging my partner saying, oh, can you please go in and check everyone, make sure I put all the lights on. Whereas obviously Lizzie and Charlotte, they're still the old school ones. I do want to replace them just because it does make it so much easier. And you can specifically add like what temperatures you want at certain times. So like Oreo's got 3 different temperatures, one during the day, one in the evening to from about 8 till 12 o'clock at night, and then obviously has his nighttime temperature up round to about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Obviously with Lizzie and Charlotte, their heating is literally just a case of you've got to come in it whenever you want to change it at that time. You've got to come in it and manually change it. So obviously it is a bit more of a pain, but it's doable. But obviously just to make it's a quality of life thing, just makes it easier to maintain and control the temperatures because you don't have to be here to change it. It just goes up and down. So if you need to go to the shops, do something, it doesn't matter because your heater will turn it, the thermostat will change it for you. But obviously the gold kit, price difference wise, you are talking about 500 odd pounds. So obviously the silver package is about 320, the gold package is 500 pound. And the main thing that causes that big price difference is the larger enclosure, and also the fact of the more expensive one comes with the brand, with the newer digital model thermostats rather than the old dial ones. So for me, obviously a bit of a conclusion on this video because it's been dragging on a little bit. What enclosure is ideal for you, the person watching this video right now? And I must say that if you're just starting out, not like, you're just thinking to yourself, I want to try having a reptile. Maybe leopard gecko is your very first reptile. Easiest way to get into it is to buy a Habestat starter kit from one of your local reptile stores in your area. Most reptile stores will have them because they are handy first time kits. It's not so much that it's complicated. It's a very simple kit to put together, and it's very simple to, set it up correctly. And obviously, as we said, for baby to juvenile age, it's a perfect little enclosure for them. They probably would work well as quarantine enclosures. So if you've got a large collection and you're thinking, oh, I need to have a quarantine tank, it's a nice cheap way of getting a quarantine tank so you can quarantine new arrivals to your collection. But if you're buying, say, obviously that's £180, so it's a cheap way of getting in the hobby. Whereas obviously if you're looking at buying an adult leopard gecko, like a full grown adult leopard gecko who isn't coming with an enclosure, so you need to get the enclosure yourself, or you already got the starter kit and you're looking to upgrade them into a larger kit, the starter kits from Reptile Centre are good starter kits. They're good quality ones. They have all the equipment, all the bells and whistles you need to set up a good appropriate cage for an adult leopard gecko. Just obviously your choices are literally between the silver, which is smaller and less techy, so less bells and whistles, or you go for the more expensive gold one, which obviously comes with the bells and whistles, the thermostat and a larger enclosure. So obviously that's all up to you what you'd want to pick, but I'll leave that decision to you, and I'll see you in the next one. If you could like and subscribe to the channel, it does immensely help us. So that'll be all for me tonight, and good night.